times more expensive than what some accounting office says. And yet we're going to start off with this, smoke and mirrors deal where we're going to tax people 10 years but only run the bill 6, and that's supposed to be how you figure out that it costs $1 trillion. It's just, and I think that's what you're referring to. But the other thing is, you're a doctor. Let me just ask you this question. Sure. What happens if you keep cutting the money to Medicare? What's going to happen to people?
Well, I'll remind the gentleman that currently physicians in hospitals are being paid 80 cents on the dollar. And the mystery that seems to be out there and very few people are addressing is, and you hear the other side talking about the rapid rise of private insurance costs. Well, one of the main reasons for that is to offset the shortfall in the Medicare payments to doctors and hospitals. So private insurance is having to make up the difference. So obviously...
So let me stop you, because you know this stuff cold, but there may be some people that are some of our other members here that just don't know this well. So you've got Medicare, which is reimbursing doctors at 80 cents on the dollar,
yes,
which means somebody got to make up the 20 cents. So we do a cost shift and shift that 20 cents in the Medicare and dump that cost onto people with private insurance, right?
That is correct.
So we're really charging them some amount more, whatever their bill was. If it was $100, we're going to add a little extra to that to compensate for the Medicare thing. So now you're driving the cost up for the guy that's really doing what we think is responsible, and that is going out, making sure he has insurance and he buys insurance in the private market. But he's paying a premium for that insurance because he's got to cover Medicare that's underfunded. So that's the first thing. Is that right? Do I have that right?
That is absolutely correct, and that is not considering Medicaid, which pays more like 30 cents on the dollar, which under this bill will increase by 30%. The number of people covered, that is. So
let's just say, for instance, we wanted to cut more money out of Medicare. Let's say we're going to take $500 billion, but just theoretically, if you drop the money in Medicare, so we're putting less money into it, what's the net effect of that going to be on the person that's counting on Medicare to pay for their medical care and to the usually older person that is counting on Medicare to cover their doctor's bills? What's going to happen then?
It will cut access off to them for health care, and I can prove it.
Oh, wait, you're saying it will cut access for older people to Medicare?
Yes.
Okay, can you explain that?
All right. Well, if doctors and hospitals are under-reimbursed further, they're at their limit today. If the cuts go even further, and of course $500 billion is draconian by any stretch of the imagination, that's as much as the entire annual budget for Medicare. If you cut it that much, then doctors will have to opt out of Medicare altogether, and the senior citizens won't have doctors to go to.
Okay, so let me just see if I get this right. You're a medical doctor. You went all through med school. You're practicing a number of years. You enjoy what you're doing. Old people come to you that need medical attention. You don't mind treating them. And before you were treating them at 80% of what the cost is, but let's say we drop down how much Medicare is paying. Well, at a certain point, you're just saying, I just can't afford to do this at this price, because ultimately you got to run an office. You've got to hire people. You got to pay the rent on the building and all of those kinds of things. You've got a lot of insurance you're paying for, and you're trying to provide for your family. And at a certain point, Medicare is reimbursing so little that you basically say, hey, the old people I've been seeing before, I'm going to keep them on because I'm a nice guy, but I'm not going to take any new people. Right. And so some old person that's sick wants to go find a doctor, perhaps they've moved or something like that, and everybody says, sorry, I'm not seeing any new Medicare patients.
Right.
So while they've got Medicare, it doesn't mean they've got health care, and so they don't get any health care.
Absolutely.
And so that's the problem with it.
Absolutely. And again, it was only a month or so ago that the Mayo Clinic, I believe in their branch in Arizona, announced that they were taking no further Medicare patients, and that's under the current pay system, not under this one.
So this new bill is going to pull $500 billion out of Medicare.
Yes.
So that's just for, if you know nothing else about the bill, this is saying, well, this is something to pay attention to.